Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ethereal Archives, to our podcast Lost in the Ether. My name is Spence, and we ran into a lot of technical difficulties with this recording session. So, what you're actually going to be hearing is sort of the latter half of our conversation on Elder Scrolls. I'm not even in this latter half because I was having such problems with my internet, and the recordings and the backup recordings that we're having for this all apparently just didn't work, so we had to use Cody's broadcast that he was doing on his personal streaming channel to sort of have something for you guys today. But we'll hopefully be doing a repeat of this conversation in the future just to reiterate points that we've missed. And until we see you guys next time, I pray you all have a wonderful rest of the day. And until then, peace.
Armor that you had because it actually has a better cold stat than a lot of armors. So you might keep that little bit of fur on you to be able to traverse the cold. That you normally would have said, hey, I'm now in glass armor, I'm gonna junk this shit. Or elven armor, because glass armor actually has a pretty good one range, I have to say. But
Right.
getting into elven armor, you're like, well, or iron armor, or orcish armor, or dwarven, and you're like, well, I've got a good defense, but there's no purpose for any of this other stuff. Well, yeah, you're in a giant solid metal sheet in the cold. You're gonna want to put something warm on.
Right.
So, and actually having an aspect of your torch, you hold it out, it actually warms you up slightly, and it'll actually extinguish after a while of having it out. Like after like 5 minutes, you actually that torch is used up, and you have to pull out a new torch. So it actually puts in that aspect where certain resources have a set limit of what they do.
Right.
That would be awesome.
No, that's what you get with the survival mod in the Creation Club.
Oh, I see. I need to dive into this creation club because I really don't know much about it. I just a part of me doesn't even want to buy it because I feel like you said it should have just been integrated in.
It's not a buy. You actually set up your Bethesda account, and if you go on there every week to 2 weeks, the mods that are free, like they occasionally have sales where it's 100% off, where you just get it. And also, if you don't want to do that, you can go into the modding section of the game. Like, go to the mods and look up the survival options. And there's one that's called, like, Frostfall or something that gives you a similar aspect to what the Creation Club one does. But it's free.
Now, I mean, I have experience in 3D modeling, so that's where my expertise could come in. So the modeling aspect. I know Spence said that a while back, like he wanted this and that. It's like I could do that in Maya or Blender for like as the free 3D software and do it in there. You know, you could. It's just I looked in the Creation Club a while back because I wanted certain things that I didn't see in the game. Like, you know what, I could just build it myself. So that's what's nice about that freedom.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the temperature meter goes in medieval, that's one of the weaknesses I found with this game is even though you have to drop considerably, you have to be literally starving, you be dehydrated, and your health needs to be almost at zero for you to even feel cold and for him to be shivering. There's no meter of hypothermia, there's no meter of any, like, it doesn't show you a temp, it just is winning. So that's one of the weaknesses I've found, and there's also no fast travel. So those are the two things.
See, that's why I like the Creation Club one in survival in the Skyrim is there. Like you said, there's no fast travel, but if you're cold, you start losing health because you can potentially die from being cold.
Right.
You being tired, your magic is actually starting to deplete because you can't focus because you're getting exhausted. If you're hungry, your stamina starts depleting because you're hungry, so you don't really want to do shit.
Mm-hmm.
So every aspect, all three of your stats are actually affected by one of those three skills.
And that is just so much more you can add to it. And again, even the actual settlement building. I mean, we saw a little bit of it, you were able to build your house in Skyrim, and there's probably, and like you said, there's more to do in Creation Club. But what would be really cool is if you found like maybe a broken down. You find a lot of ruins in the Elder Scrolls games. I found a lot in Oblivion, and I found a lot in Skyrim. What if you could find, like maybe a broken down town, and you had the option to rebuild it back to its glory or make it something new? That would be so much fun. Build some inns, build some trade posts. Something I've been having fun with Fallout 4, which is something you told me about, is adding the getting your charisma up and adding the little trading posts. And just having like traders inside your town. I haven't had to go to Diamond City, and I'm at level 15 because I've just been working on my settlements, just like you said. And I'm like, I totally forgot about Diamond City, and I forgot about the main quest because I've just been settlement building. Which
I just found out today that there's actually certain like legendary gear. There's like 1 or 2 legendary gear items that that are named items that actually show up in the store, the level 4 stores that you can make at your settlements. That you have to get a high end if a high end armor merchant, not just a random settler, but an actual random NPC that can become that armor merchant's storefront owner that can then will make it available. But it's a random NPC, and you have to build up the ability, and you have to have a bustling settlement. Like, it has to have like 10 or more settlers in that settlement.
that would be awesome. And something else like
that's in it. I just found that out today.
That's
in it. Yeah,
that's so cool.
There's it's like Night Stalkers or some weird named like chest or arm piece that's in the armor store, and then another one's in the general store. That you have to have a high-end settler, a random NPC that you find on the road, that you have to pass a persuasion check, and your settlement has to have a 10 or more settlers, and you have to have the storefront available. And then they'll join your settlement, and they can be assigned to that storefront, and then that item's available. And it's something you wouldn't. The game doesn't tell you. It's there, but you have to invest into the settlement building. Like,
that's really cool. I mean,
and having that aspect of like early game, the glue adhesive being hard to find, but then later once you've built up a settlement, having corn, potatoes, and mute fruit, having a good supply of those, you can cook adhesive. Essentially, it's vegetable starch, but you can cook adhesive. So then now you're looking for screws and your science stuff, and adhesive becomes a common resource that you have. That early game, it was scarce. But those kind of aspects in Skyrim, you wouldn't be able to do the junk searching, but having where like you go to the thing, you become Thane, but the lord of that region, being able to go to them and purchasing not just a home but a plot of land, and then being able to enlist a stonemason and a woodworker, and being able to build up the area, and not just you, like you could build your simple home, but being able to build up a small township, and then based on your actions, like if you've been just a badass stealing and killing, all of a sudden you become like a thief haven. That you may have purchased that land off the thing, but now you're like defending it against the thing, and you've stopped paying your taxes. Like he was talking about his other game where you have to pay taxes and stuff.
Yeah, Medieval Dynasty. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But you could do the honorable route where you've been doing your main quests, and you've built up a little bustling and like little farmers, and like that guy that's been homeless in the middle of the town finally comes to your little safe haven and starts trying to find work, being a helping hand on the little farms that you have, and then you building up a small little sub town off that. and
Oh,
having your
yeah.
little meadery and your farm and all that stuff, and being able to sustain yourself on your own little plot of land, and being able to do that in each one of the regions in the land.
That would be...
Like,
Whew.
because we're going to be in the right zone for it. I think it's High Rock, possibly, or not High Rock. What's it? Red. It's the Red Guards area. I forgot what that's called, but it's essentially you have a chance of like mountainous region and desert. Being able to make a oasis in the middle of the desert and being able to build up a small town around a small oasis that you found and being able to build it up, and then building up to where it gets noticed by the Thane that technically owns the land, and he tells you, hey, you technically should be paying taxes, and you can do the honorable action of actually following the law and becoming a subsidiary. I'm drawing a blank on
Subsidiary?
it. Yeah, of that lord's land, or you can do the badass thief and assassin route and just say, screw off. We're gonna build up our own militia and kind of stop you from doing anything with this. We're our own independent state.
That would be really cool. And maybe even adding, because we had a couple of companions in Skyrim that were really cool. But what I really liked about Fallout 4 is you had to build up a standing with your companions in order to earn a perk and actually learn more about them. I want to see that in Elder Scrolls 6. I want to meet some really interesting companions that, maybe even some like in Fallout 3. You couldn't get Jericho unless you had bad karma. Maybe you can't get a character in Elder Scrolls 6 unless you have enough built up good karma. Something like that. I definitely want to see the karma system come back. I want to know that I can make good choices that affect the land, and I also want to know that I can make bad choices that affect the land.
I did like that aspect because, like, it in Skyrim, you do notice that if you actually do certain stuff with companions, like Fendal, he deals with some shit, like the wood elf that you find at the very beginning of the game in Riverwood. He'll deal with a lot of stuff, but I noticed when I turned into a werewolf for the first time for the companions, and I started attacking Whiterun. Like halfway through that, it just says Fendal has left your service. Like Fendal stopped wanting to be my follower and started attacking me because I was attacking the villagers and the guards. Because he's like, I'm not up for this. I didn't sign up for this. Those kind of things are kind of cool to see. Like it would be kind of cool to see in a speech option actually having those diverse speech options that we knew Bethesda to have in like Fallout 3 and New Vegas, where there was actually more than just yes, no, maybe, and a question and a neutral. Like having your four little options instead of just your four options, having an actual anywhere between 2 to 6 speech options. And based on how that conversation's going, all of a sudden, like going over to your companion and be like, I didn't sign up for this, and him walking away, like somebody that's an honorable, like I think Lydia, the first first housecarl that you get from the Whiterun, you joining the assassins, the Brotherhood, and she'd be like, "No, I didn't sign up to be an assassin," and just leaving your service and actually reporting you to the Lord would be kind of cool to see, instead of them just being like hush hush, like, "Oh, I'm his housecarl, so I've got to do what he says." No, you're his housecarl, but that's your Lord.
Right. So
You
then,
should,
to have more of a... there definitely needs to be more options in the dialogue, and maybe even a way to persuade them, like, hey, don't leave, I won't do it again. Maybe even lie to them and have that option of saving them from leaving, so you can make bad options here and there. And maybe at a certain point, you won't be able to speech check them. Or
like the charisma actually mattering, where you have those moments. Or I've always understood like the money talks, bullshit walks kind of aspect of, yeah, my charisma might be shit, but I'm loaded. Being able to like,
yes,
she's ready to leave your service. You're like, you know what? I'm going to give you 250 gold, and she comes back that no, I'm good, and it's like it goes from 250 gold. It's like realistically, she's going to want $1,000, and have to drop the money because your charisma wasn't high enough to bribe her efficiently.
That would be awesome.
Like having those kind of aspects would be hilarious in a game. It's like my character is so shit he can't even bribe somebody right.
Oh, that'd be so good. Oh man.
Those are the kind of things we're missing in RPGs as of recently because they're going more of the action side. They're trying to
Yes.
appease the looter shooter kind of aspect of people's want. They want things now, and they want the new shiny thing, and they want to drop the thing that they've been holding the whole time.
Yeah.
When realistically, like in Fallout, one of the first things I go for is Overseer's Guardian in Vault 81 because it's got the every shot it shoots 2 bullets, so whatever its damage is naturally double of whatever it would normally be for a combat rifle.
And how do you get Overseer's Guardian?
You got to get to Vault 81, and you have to either pass a speech check proving that, pretty much saying that you are a Vault Dweller yourself, which they let you in for free, or you give them 3 fusion cores. So I bring 3 fusion cores of my lowest percentage, and I bring 1 Great Mentat, a Pilsner something or other, which builds 1 charisma, and possibly a Med-X, which gives me a +2 charisma, and as well as an outfit that gives me a +2 charisma, and a Trilby hat, which gives me a +1 charisma,
Yeah, I've
and
done
a
that,
pair of
but
sunglasses.
I just don't remember getting. I don't remember
It's at
getting
the
anything in
as
those
soon
areas.
no as soon as you get into the Vault 81, you go through the elevator, you take the right path, and you go to the store, and it's one of her items. And then if you've taken the Great Mentats to increase your charisma, the prices are 10% cheaper. And if you've taken the Pilsner, the prices are a little bit cheaper. So you're actually getting pretty much minimum value if you've already have the charisma clothes and you've passed that speech check. If you run straight there, you already have everything to have that thing at the lowest price.
Ooh.
And if you've passed the speech check, you have those 3 fusion cores that you can sell at a higher price than the 100 caps they were going to give you for those 3 fusion cores. So you can sell those 3 fusion cores, get the weight down if you're playing survival, and get the gun for pretty much nothing because you sold the 3 fusion cores and you bought it for a third of the price.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't even know that existed in Vault 81. I've done the quests and stuff, but I never went to the store.
The beauty part about Overseer's Guardian is it automatically comes with the best butt of the gun. Like it comes with the level 4 mod butt of the gun, so it has the best one for that, and you should be able to upgrade it well. As well, I should let you know, if you ever do the mole rat quest, do not bring a follower. Because if you can avoid getting bit at all in that quest, you do not get infected, and you can give the kid the cure, and you're perfectly fine. But you can check your active effects, and as long as you don't have the -10 to your health, you are not affected by the mole rat disease, and you can give the full thing. If you can find a way to save before you do it, or if you have the time in survival, if you have the time to walk all the way out of the vault after you clear a section, sleep in the bed, and then go all the way back down, you're fine. But if you have a follower with you, if they get bit once, you're infected because of how the way the game's coded.
Yeah.
So I'm running with dog meat, but I'm going to drop dog meat as soon as I want to do that quest.
And that's another thing I'd like to see. I think we have seen a few dogs in Skyrim, but I want to be able to have a dog as a companion, and I don't remember being able to do that in Skyrim from what I.
There is actually several dogs. If you go to the outside of what's it called, the Dwarven City, bottom left corner of the map. Markarth? No, not Markarth. Not Falkreath. It's above Falkreath. I think it is Markarth.
Markarth sounds right. That's the
Yeah.
pretty city with the waterfall.
Yeah, it's the Dwarven city. It's actually a Dwarven ruin that they've turned into a city.
And I want to see more dwarven ruins too. And
If you go in
tomorrow.
front of the horse stables, there's a person selling a dog. And a fun fact, and minor spoiler in the game, is that gentleman is actually part of the group that's cannibals in that city.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The butcher's actually selling human meat.
Oh, I do remember that. I think that there
So,
wasn't there like a quest where you figure that out that he's selling human
yep.
meat.
Yep. And you can get a
Okay,
ring that lets you eat human, which actually helps in survival because every enemy can sustain your health.
this is true.
But yeah, in front of the stables, there's a person that sells dogs for 500 gold, as well as if you do the Dawnstar storyline, you can get a battle troll. But in that same area, you've got Braun and some other. I don't remember the other dog. I think it's Bran and Braun, but both of them are huskies, armored huskies that you can get.
That's really cool. So just continue with
Yep.
being able to have creatures, maybe even
Yep.
tame some creatures in Elder Scrolls 6 to have as a
Yeah.
companion would be really cool.
Well, having like the was it illusion that gives you like pacify and all those spells? Having the master spell, being able to enlist even just something as stupid as a bunny, being able to say, "Hey, for as long as this bunny survives, it is under my control."
That would be awesome. And see, those are some of the awesome things that I think we all want to see from Elder Scrolls 6 that we've
Well,
touched on today. I'm not sure,
yeah,
honestly, I know Spencer can edit things, but I'm not sure when we should
yeah.
exactly stop. I was hoping that he'd be able to come back in at some point and add his
He
piece.
actually said he said that he's internet is out. He's just gonna let us guys finish, and he'll edit out later.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. Um,
Um,
well, whenever
I
you
was gonna
guys
say,
think.
well, the last thing I was gonna say is like things like having the vampires. You see vampire thralls all the time, but you have the option to become a vampire and a vampire lord in Skyrim, but yet you can never make a thrall. Those are kind of things that never made sense. Like
That's
it
true.
would be kind of cool to be if you chose to go down that path of darkness, being able to fully embrace it. Like the necromancers, you see the necromancer have like 17 thralls, like 17 undead around them, or that like that one in I forgot what it's called, but you get Dawnbreaker, the little dagger or the short sword. That guy brings up like 20 undead like shadow skeleton things, but yet you can only bring up I think a total of 2 at a time.
Right, and it would be
So,
cool to max that out and be able to bring up as many as you want. Take out a whole town
uh,
and then bring that town with you.
and even if they don't want to give that to an everyday skill, but making like I mentioned earlier, making Daedric artifacts actually powerful, giving you ability of like having a Daedric like what is it, Molag Bal, the one that does vampires, having them or whoever does necromancy, having those ones being having an artifact that actually gives you a benefit useful. Like being able to get the crown of Molag Bal or something that lets you, or like his mace, instead of it being something that like drains stamina and health, being able to, if you beat them into submission and you actually murdered somebody with that mace, having a potential for that person to raise back up from the dead and be your thrall until they actually pass again. Something like that would have been cool.
Absolutely, that would have been,
Those are the kind of things I feel like a Daedric artifact has.
yes, more power. It's supposed to be, Daedric is basically, in a sense, like demonic
Yeah.
power. It needs to be more
Yeah.
powerful than things that are earthly. And maybe even
Hey,
see more, instead of just Daedric artifacts, maybe some goddess artifacts that you can have
well,
that have the same sort of, if not better effects.
well, there's only two things in the game that has that kind of feel that come to mind. Is Aravel's bow, which he's an Aedra. Aravel's bow, and I guess his shield. His shield lets you use the warding spell, but that's still a warding spell. But the Aravel's bow, you can shoot it at the sun with the uh, blighted elven arrows and the sun touched, whatever they're called, elven arrows, where you can either make the sun a bright shining thing that throws fire that hurts the undead, or you can blot it out with darkness. But those are two effects that only affect it when you have a special arrow. But the other one is, like, base game, without any DLCs, was the Staff of Sheogorath, where you shoot it at something and something random happens. They could turn into a bunny, or they could turn into a frost giant. Like, those kind of...
Yes.
That felt like a Daedric artifact.
Like the Wabba, is it the Wabbajack?
Wabbajack, yeah.
Yeah, the Wabbajack's that's my favorite quest because it's just so random.
That's a memorable moment. With that Daedric artifact, everybody remembers. Nobody knows exactly what Molag Bol's mace does, or even we know Dawnbreaker's strong, but it's strong against undead, and that's all we know. But we can also make our own weapon that can damage undead, that can
Now
do massive harm against undead.
That would be really cool. Maybe finding pieces of the innards of a Daedric artifact and making your own, crafting your own artifact in Elder Scrolls 6. Because I want to see more crafting. I want to see, I want to be able to craft my own weapon in Elder Scrolls 6. You know, from things that are dumb as like a wooden sword to things that are as powerful as iron, steel. Even maybe swords like made out of glass, like the elven swords. It would be really cool to be able to just pick up pieces of junk or pieces of, rare Daedric.
I see where you're going. Like, I don't know if they would actually go through that, but like being able to choose, like, okay, I'm going to do a glass sword, but it's not going to look like every glass sword. I'm going to take, like, being able to take the look of an elven sword or the Redguard scimitar, but making a glass sword out of the Redguard scimitar's aesthetics, or being able to add adornments on it, like a beaded tassel on the end of your hilt, or like, I don't know, just a gold lining on this thing, and just having to add that extra little mineral in the smelting process. But like having like the beaded tassel on your hilt or something, something you would add later. But I don't know, that those kind of things, those are more in depth, that would be awesome to see. And I don't know if that's what you were going with, though.
Basically, yeah. I would like to see just more, anything that goes along with any kind of crafting. I would love to see in Elder Scrolls. It would just be so much fun for me because when it comes to crafting, settlement building, things like that you really get to indulge in and spend hours on. It's more hours of gameplay, and like you said, I'm tired of this story, sort of like looter shooters. Yes, like I love looting, I love grabbing new weapons, but I want it to be more RPG based than I'm doing a story. Story RPGs are not as fun to me because there's not as many aspects you can really decide for yourself. I want choices. Yeah. I want things that affect the game.
Yeah.
That really put a damper on it. I want to be at the helm, almost in the sense that Fallout gave us the settlement building, and I kind of felt like a little bit of like I was behind the scenes making the game, because you really make the settlements the way that you want. And you know, they had to do that back in medieval times. I mean, you had a little shack, that you would build up. And it, again, with the Creation Club, like you were saying, you had the campsites you could make. I want more than campsites. I want to be able to just take my shit out in the woods and just cut down some trees, kind of like what Eric was doing in Medieval Dynasty. I want to cut out some trees. I want to take those logs and I want to make an actual like little settlement in Elder Scrolls 6. That would be super cool to me. I want to be able to put my house up on top of a mountain. The thing that we've touched on before, so I won't really say too much about, is I wanted to build more than just inside of the Fallout settlements. I think
Yeah,
that would be cool.
they actually have a mod for that, where it's open building.
Damn, they have a mod for everything.
Yeah, you can actually get that mod on console too. I don't know if you can get it on PC because not PC, PlayStation, because I know if you use third-party resources, PlayStation doesn't let it on the Creation Club. That's the issue with. That's what the issue with PlayStation's Creation Club is. They don't let third-party resources. They have to be resources that were in the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
I did want to ask, are you guys down for like a game of Risk before we like clock out for the night?
it's already midnight. I'm going to be probably shutting down because I got to be up at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm kind of on my vibe right now with medieval. I would, but
No worries.
yeah.
I'm probably gonna do a little bit of gaming after this, just because I'm pretty awake and I've been studying all day, so I need a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you gonna hit it, or are you just?
I'm not gonna hit Risk if you guys aren't, but I am gonna be hitting probably something else.
Okay. I mean, I'll be on. So I mean, we could just stay in, or we can just go in your Discord. No need
Have
to.
either of you guys tried Scythe recently, or
Yeah, I have. I've gotten into a little bit of it.
yeah?
I've gotten. I think I would have to look back at where I'm stuck because the
Yeah.
terminology is a little. I'm a little lost on a few things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to a point and I didn't understand why I couldn't. Um,
Hello, everybody, and thank you for watching our podcast. We do appreciate it. We will try to be uploading our podcast videos every Saturday. If you guys want to catch us when we do our podcast live, feel free to follow us on Twitch. The link will be in the description below, along with all of our other links to our personal channels. And in the meantime, I wish you all a wonderful, blessed rest of the night, and I will see you all again soon. Peace.